Thank you for Ynvisible for giving me the opportunity to speak. So I'll give first a short introduction to this DecoChrom project. Then mostly I'll give some ideas about different applications that we've been looking at in the project. And then finally, I'll close by telling something about the work that we've been doing in the maker and do-it-yourself space. So firstly, the DecoChrom project, it's a rather large European Union funded project lasting 4 years with nearly 7 million budget. Here showing some of the visions that we started off the project with. So generally, I'd say that these are towards the area of calm computing. So rather than having to look at your smartphone display to get information on things, perhaps the information could be embedded in your surroundings. So here, one example showing, for example, near your front door, you could see the daily activity level of the members of your family. And then here on the right, perhaps in the bed headboard, there could be some dynamic printed graphic pattern that could show how well you and your partner have slept. So for example, here, when you glance across at your partner's headboard, you can see that perhaps they haven't slept so well. So these kind of ideas. So this was where we started off the project, really with these kind of visionary ideas. The project itself is really multidisciplinary. So it stretches right from chemistry, right through to design and pilots. And then everything really in between. So putting the chemistry together into electrochromic devices, and then also the enabling systems and elements around those. So largely printed electronics. Here today, I'll just talk about the design aspects of the project. So I'll just show some of the example prototypes that we've developed in the project so far. And all of the things that I present, they're fully functional prototypes, and they've been developed by various partners. So firstly, shoes. So now I think sensors in shoes are quite ubiquitous. So there's tens or even hundreds of companies working on sensors in shoes, but the output space of shoes is not really well covered. So one of the concepts that we produced was the idea to put an electrochromic display into a shoe and to really integrate it with the design of a shoe. So here we took an off-the-shelf shoe, designed some electrochromic displays and integrated them together with the electronics into the shoe. So the example use cases, for example, could be a shoe wear indicator here on the right to show when the shoe's worn out. Or on the toe and heel of the shoe to show how the runner's form is. Are they landing on the heel or toe of the shoe? These kind of ideas. So this was based on an off-the-shelf shoe. So the possibility to integrate the design was rather limited. So as a next step, we designed and built a shoe from scratch and integrated an electrochromic display. So here we linked it to a heart rate monitor. So when the wearer's heart rate goes above 100 beats per minute, then the flames illuminate on the side of the shoe. And I think this is a good example about approaching the design as a whole. So not just sticking a display onto an existing product, but really looking at how things can be designed from the beginning with electrochromic displays. Continuing with the theme of wearables, we looked at the possibility to integrate electrochromic displays into clothing. So here into an evening dress. It has electrochromic panels in the front and back and capacitive touch buttons on the shoulders. So the wearer can adjust the opacity of the neckline and the back panel depending on the context that it's been worn in. We've also looked at sports equipment and hand tools. So again, with sports equipment like tennis rackets, it's generally quite available to get sensor-equipped sports equipment, which sends the data to a smartphone. But here we looked at the possibility to actually integrate displays into the tennis racket itself. So the sportsman can immediately after they've played a few shots get some information on their performance. Then on the right, thinking about one of the most basic of human tools, an axe. How could we turn it into add some smartness to it? So here, integrating an electrochromic display. And this quite well demonstrates the possibility to fit the electrochromic display around the curved surface of the axe. So it really bends around the surface of the axe. Here, another prototype demonstrating the possibility for a little bit larger area electrochromic displays. So I think this is something which might be challenging to do with different technologies. So this is a kitchen scales, which has a fairly large scale display on the surface. Then, as was previously mentioned, just making the displays it alone isn't enough, so they really need to be integrated. So here's some examples of integration that we've done with the project partners. So an activity monitor, and here a demonstrator that integrates various printed electronic sensors with electrochromic displays. So that was just to give a flavour of some of the prototypes that we've been developing, just to see the potential for electrochromic displays in different areas. Another aspect of the project is engaging with the maker community. So it's possible to build these electrochromic displays similar to the ones that we've used in the examples I presented. Without special tools. So largely those displays we've built ourselves without any special environment or special tools, just on a kitchen table effectively. And the prototypes, as well as using spray coating or screen printing, they can be printed with a $150 inkjet printer. So this is the printer that we're currently using. And the quality is good enough for prototype level. So from design point of view, this is nice because it enables us to very rapidly prototype displays. So we can design a display, print it, and assemble it within 30 minutes. This kind of time scale. Linked with that, as part of the project, we've developed this toolkit for designers and artists. So this links with Ynvisible's ink kit, which is now available. So in here we have other materials lists, instructions, plugins for Adobe Illustrator, and also software to run the things. So using this together as part of the project, we've ran tens of workshops globally with maker and university communities. So here just some examples from the kind of thing. So I think the image at the top left is quite typical of how this has been run. So basically, people come along to the workshops, they design a display, we print it, and then they assemble it. So here showing some examples. So at the top right, for example, this shake it label, and then when the bottle is actually shaken, the display disappears. So these are kind of ideas that we've been developing in the workshops. Okay, so that was the end of my presentation. So thank you, everybody.